the University Industry Congress. It's a platform where I remember those of us who were involved with it has come a long way from its original beginnings in 2007. I remember President Kalam was the president of the country at that time, and the important issue we were discussing in CII in those days was that on one hand the industry says we don't get employable people, and on the other hand the universities say that we do not get to understand what industry wants from us. And we found that this gap where university and industry work as islands with an occasional ferry service between the two needs to be bridged through a permanent bridge. And as CII, our largest issue was how to get industry members, CII being the largest association in the country, how to get industry members into a room to discuss things is something which comes naturally to us. But how to get the university system and the academic system to come into the room and sit on the same table and discuss, we decided to take the help of a person none less than the president of the country. So the president of the country actually called for the first university industry. In those days, we called it the council, and that meeting was held in Vigyan Bhavan. And for the historic occasion, because there were nearly 300 people in the room, I think nearly every vice chancellor of the central universities, many vice chancellors and policy makers from the government, as well as the private university system, as well as large number of people from the industry. But very interestingly, they were sitting on two sides of the house, very clearly demarcated as I'm university and this was I'm industry, and exchanging glances with each other but not talking so much. But from there, if I look back, I don't think I can make out right now who's from industry and who's from university. So we've come a long way. We have less than 300 people right now, and I'm sure there are many people who will be finding their way into the auditorium. This auditorium is being used for the first time, so finding directions as well as the traffic of Delhi, as well as various other happenings, I'm sure are contributing to it. But enough to say that from 2007, I think what has paid off is the perseverance of CII. There have been many moments at which time this University Industry Council, which it was named for the first 3 years, in 2010 got renamed as the University Industry Congress. It has held ground and has met regularly. So much so that this year we have a very good degree of foreign participation from foreign universities, and our vision and hope is that at least this becomes the meeting ground for thinkers and academicians and researchers and industry to come together on a forum every year around the same time to make sure that there is a consistency of thought and that we can not only discuss new projects and new possibilities, but also create new partnerships and new impact studies of whatever we have done. There are two initiatives out of this University Industry Congress which have come here to stay and are happening very regularly every year. One is the AICTE, All India Council of Technical Education, which is the premier body which regulates in some form the technical education in the country, and the CII survey of industry-linked technical institutions. So this is a survey, and when we get into the details of that survey, we'll hear more, which started on a very modest basis, but has now grown into a very interesting survey which results in a set of awards for some of the institutions who qualify and meet the requisite criteria and then get the necessary ranking which is required. The second is the Prime Minister's Fellowship Scheme for Doctoral Research. Again, a very innovative scheme conceptualized by CII and spearheaded by CII. And once again, when we talk more, into the detail. These are two sub-institutions which have kind of come here to stay as a part of the main institution, which I call the University Industry Congress. Last year, we had actually tried out to University Industry Congress as a part of a larger forum called Knowledge Expo, which was a multilateral platform, and where a large number of high technology, R&D, higher education, intellectual property rights, design, innovation, entrepreneurship, number of subjects were brought together under the same roof. But this year, when we sat and looked at this one more time, we felt that university education, industry education requires a special focus, and therefore, to that extent, we have the University Industry Congress happening once again, which all of you will be participating over the next 2 days. I have the great honor of chairing the Higher Education Committee of CII this year, and I have with me the very, very able guidance and support of Shankar Vani here, who's the co-chair, along with me. But we both benefit from the great innings played by Dr. Naushad Forbes before us. So, you know, it's always good to play in a team in which Sachin Tendulkar plays, because after he has scored the centuries, you know, you can all go and have a nice time at the crease. So both I and Shankar are having that nice time at the crease, whereas I think Naushad went and scored the centuries before us.
Sachin used to also occasionally get out for a duck.
In this particular case, he did score a century, so it's okay. So we set up a very interesting agenda. So in this committee, by the way, we not only discuss serious issues like higher education, but we also have a lot of fun together. And we do some outings. I remember the last outing we did was an industry-academia linkage discussion in the campus of National Institute of Advanced Studies. Dr. Baldev Raj, he had hosted us in the month of September, was it? And we had a wonderful day together. In this particular subject area, we deal with the government, we deal with industry, we deal with fellow academics, we deal with overseas partners, and we therefore decided that we will have a three-pronged focus, actually four-pronged focus in the Higher Education Committee this year. The top of the line was industry-academia linkage, and which also, by the way, is a very strong theme of this year's University Industry Congress. The second was working out global partnerships, and that's another theme which is visible through the participation of the overseas delegates and speakers as well as thinkers. And the third area which we were looking at was the new education policy. So there is actually the country is coming up with a new education policy, which is again at a very good time, because higher education is actually a subject of great dialogue and debate all over the world right now. There are many moving parts and many moving forces and many things which are changing. One amongst them is our student himself. The second is the teacher. The third is the teaching methods. The fourth is technology. The fifth is the higher education structure. The fifth is the social structure, where the fetish for degree, how long will it last, or a formal education, how long will it last, and the incoming areas of skills and new jobs and new careers emerging. I think it's a melting pot in which there is a need for a lot of discussion, not for a lot of flexibility, yet a degree of certainty required as we pursue the path forward. We, being the largest country by population in times to come, I think have not only an opportunity but a responsibility to participate in the recasting of the higher education system, if I may say, and play a role with well thought of pilots, great discussions, measurement studies, so that we can all come to a common conclusion on what might benefit the global society. This Congress is to address some of these areas. You will be listening to over 40 speakers spread across 7 sessions. In addition to that, there will be 2 keynotes. There are a couple of award sessions, and each one of them is an opportunity for us to think hard on how higher education may be recasted as we go forward. There are 25 technical institutions who are the winners of AICTE CII survey of industry-linked technical institutes. There are 5 professors who will receive awards for writing best case studies under a separate competition which was conducted by the Indian School of Business, and they do it every year. As many as 7 publications will be released. So actually I want to compliment the CII Secretariat for having coordinated so much of research work and so much of work together to bring out the 7 publications, that it's really going to be a very, very interesting set of data points as well as findings that you will carry with you, which should help you in looking at the future in a more discrete manner. I also want to make one more comment. On 4th of November this year, on the occasion of the Visitors Annual Conference at Rashtrapati Bhavan, CII had brought over 25 of its member companies to exchange MOUs with 25 central institutions. And this was a very great milestone in many ways, that under in the presence of the President of the country, the industry and the academia came forward and pledged or kind of agreed to work together for a common cause. So we would see part of these in the 7 publications that are going to get released, and I'm not going to give you the details of the 7 publications. At appropriate times, the CII Secretariat will take us through that. I have not only the great honor of welcoming you, but also thank and express our gratitude to several partners in this endeavor to create the University Industry Congress, the Ministry of Human Resource Development, the All India Council of Technical Education, Dr. Anil Sahasrabuddhe is here, the Association of Indian Universities, Dr. Furkan Kumar is here, and the Indian National Academy of Engineering, Dr. Mishra is here. Several of our other verticals such as manufacturing, healthcare, pharma, and energy are also working with these institutions, but it's great to see so many people contributing, and at the right time when the country is looking at its education policy afresh. So I welcome you all, and I do hope that you would have a wonderful time over the next 2 days, build new relationships, discover some new thought processes, and more important, participate in the discussions. So there will be plenty of time to ask questions and network with others. I would now like to invite Vice President of INAE, Dr. Sanak Mishra, to share his thoughts on the occasion.